Welcome back to the Division 2. I have tried TU 11.1. I'll be making changes for the next stream. We're not going to do 9 directives. I would, however, like to thank you for all the support on the stream. We reached a peak concurrent of 310 viewers. We had around 8,000 playbacks on the stream. New subscribers coming in, super chats. I appreciate it all. But we will not be continuing with 9 directives. Just for the simple fact that it took us around 6.5 hours to clear 23 floors. We got to floor 24, so we cleared 23 of them in 6.5 hours. We would continue if there was a reward for doing it, but there isn't. There's absolutely no accomplishment in achieving all 100 floors of 9 directives. Not only that, but there are a lot of problems, and that's what I want to talk to you guys about in this video. Again, I have managed to compile a list of bugs that are bigger than what the developers put out for bug fixes. It's not really a surprise anymore. There are a couple of things that is more like a shock when we first encounter them, but we're expecting a lot of problems. This is massive entertainment. They always mess up. It's inevitable. Not only that, but we're going 2 weeks without State of the Game. There will not be a State of the Game tomorrow. They are returning on November the 4th, so they're just completely shutting out this entire update, not talking about it at all. And then when they come back on November 4th, they're going to be talking about Title Update 12. So they've completely skipped the community part of this update. They're caring less and less and less every week. And I find that really hard to believe because they're already at a standard where we believe they don't care because they haven't ever showed signs of it. So jumping into this list, enemies are hitting way harder than they did even before this update. I'm now seeing red bars when I die on Legendary. I'm being hit for 2 million plus, just from one enemy. That's a red bar. I've seen other enemies killing me. I'm not sure of their veterancy, but on Legendary difficulty, the directives don't increase the damage output from the enemies or anything. I'm being hit, I think it was about maybe 8.5, 9 million damage I took from 2 enemies, and there were 5 enemies that dealt damage to me during that death. Tanks are still far too strong. Absolutely none of the enemies were balanced. Well, they were sneakily balanced, but that was to buff them, not to do anything else. There are new objectives, and I say new objectives. They stated in their, recap, their article, whatever, new objective types. There are no new objectives in this bloody mode from this update. They are new variants of the current objectives. So don't go getting your hopes up. But we do have a new way to play one of the objectives, and it's a timed objective. They give you 3 minutes to go into a room, and you have to... This is Legendary 9 directives, by the way. We had to do this. You go into a room, you have to hack 2 terminals. They'll go up 1% at a time. You don't even interact with them. You step into their circle, they automatically start. Once both of those are down, you have to go and take down 2 servers. You have to do that in 3 minutes, or you wipe. The enemy aggression was absolutely stupid. It was ridiculous how aggressive these enemies were being. Before any of us even went down, we were having enemies pushing out of the room. And there was one stage, I believe it was me that was last alive. I ran out of the room, backed up a little bit because I was running survivability. And I'm not even exaggerating, 7 or 8 enemies come out of that room straight after me, and they chased me from, I believe it was the final room of a floor, all the way back to the very beginning of that floor. Another thing, they're expecting us, they haven't done any testing on these directives because they're expecting us to run, they did put out warnings saying, oh yeah, don't try 9 directives, blah blah blah, but they've put out these directives, giving you the opportunity to try and run 9, fragile armor's fucking broken. We've had it where the UI doesn't show how many armor breaks you've got, we've had it where your armor doesn't actually break, we've had it showing way more armor breaks than what you actually have, and then the worst one, and this is the reason we're not going back in with 9 directives, we've had it to where you use an armor kit and it doesn't take one of the breaks away and it doesn't give you your armor back. There was one point in the stream today where I was running with 4 armor breaks. I had 4 armor kits but couldn't use them because it wasn't awarding me any of my armor back, wasn't taking the break away. So I was left for pretty much an entire floor with 20% of my max armor because the directive is broken. Lewis at one point fell through the floor. I can't remember if this was on stream or just after because we went back in looking for mods because We got the chest for me, which was my final piece of providence. I now just need a couple of mods, but I can't be bothered farming for those mods. So I'm going to show you the perfect build that I've managed to put together with thanks to a lot of different people helping out, but mainly Compete and Lewis, and it's taken me about 7 months to put the build together. Like, I've been slowly increasing the stats and stuff every now and then when I can, but I finally got every piece perfect. Next up, when we went back in after the stream, we had Rikers and Hyenas on the same floor on Legendary difficulty. That's not supposed to happen. They put out a fix for the White Tusk appearing on floors that weren't Legendary, but they never thought about the other way round where the other factions are invading Legendary floors. Another thing, I don't know why they've done it like this, they've just decided to be dicks about it. When you run 5 directives, you get 25% XP extra for each of the directives, so 5 is 125% XP. Instead of 9 giving you 225%, it gives you 175. I believe 2 of the directives give you 12% and 2 of them give you 13%. To make an extra 50% for the final 4. Hostages in this game mode still aren't programmed properly. They literally just stand in the middle of rooms holding their faces whilst they're getting obliterated by Legendary difficulty enemies. Another thing, there are way more empty loot rooms than normal. You go into these rooms like little closets that normally have gear and weapon crates, a lot more than normal are empty. They stated in this update that the Shade Crate would be more beneficial to capture for the player. Absolute bollocks. It doesn't make a difference whether you capture it or not. It's not worth it. Then they took the piss out of us because how long have we been asking for the support station in the game? I'm pretty sure people only really picked up on it from the moment Warlords dropped and Legendary become available and players started seeing the support stations. But obviously there are people from Division 1 that have been asking probably since the get-go. And instead of giving us a support station, they've let us take control of one. So when you get an objective, destroy this support station or hack the support station, it's a hacked one. Once you deal with the terminals, you get control. But the problem with that is, you gain control, it actually shoots the stims at you when you are dead, and it also acts like a skill tier 0 fixer drone because it doesn't give you much armor back at all. Next up, enemies and players alike are sliding around still. There are random objects still floating around. Literally, there was the D-lock, the little padlocks they use for the doors. We opened the door and the padlock was just sat there floating in the air. The summit access keys aren't dropping. I was using a shield build with the Liberty, the Bulwark shield, the big full body shield. I was using that, and there are a lot of obstacles you have to vault over. You're forced to vault in this mode to get into certain rooms, and you can't do it when you have your shield equipped, so you have to put it away. And when you temporarily put your shield away with scavenge skills on, it's forcing you to get a ticket or a skill part or whatever in order to get your shield back out. No fault of my own, no damage to my shield, and it's forcing me to go and get them skill parts. And I'm on Legendary with 9 fucking directives. I shouldn't have to do that, because that means I have to get into a room with a build that has no damage on, and get a kill for myself because group members can't have these parts drop. I have to get that kill for myself, pick up the part, then I can use my shield. And then the final thing, it's still a bug in Summit, has been ever since it come out. Enemies are being alerted before doors are open, and they are pre-firing like this is a fucking esport. You literally, there are times where you open a door and the moment you hold down the interaction button or the prompt, you hold it down, the doors start to open. As soon as they start to open, you're being levered by a mini-tank. Upon all the negative, there is one positive. I like the targeted loot. In fact, I love being able to choose my own targeted loot. For players that are looking for builds, that's going to add a lot of replayability. For me personally, I've got pretty much everything I need. I'll only ever be running for Providence here and there, so it's not that great, but I love that that's been added into the game. It's a great addition to this game. But that is the only positive thing to come from 11.1. People are getting delted all over the place. People they don't have a clue how the exotic components work anymore because the developers haven't cleared it up. By the way, just so that you guys do know about the exotic components, I had it asked a lot in the stream. Floors 1 to 20 will drop the normal, 21 to 40 hard, 41 to 60 challenging, 61 to 80 heroic, 81 to 100 will be legendary. So if you don't have that legendary, you take out the hunters, you can't just go back to floor 81 and try again, you have to go all the way through to floor 81. But the drop rate has been increased apparently, And not only that, you can play it on any difficulty. The difficulty doesn't tie in to these exotic components anymore. So what I'm going to do is leave the video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments, as always. I really can't see any form of an unscheduled maintenance or anything like that coming into the game for this update. They're just going to brush over it, and they've done it again, what a lot of companies do nowadays. Instead of actually bug fixing, they slap different content on there and change a few things around to try and hide the issues with the game and just try and do their best to keep the community happy. Well, I see right through their bullshit. This is a mess. But I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.